Hi everyone, it's Vicky here, and thanks for tuning in and watching. I just want to say thank you to everyone out there who has been watching, and thank you to everyone who has said things or watched the video or become friends or subscribe. I really appreciate it. Your support means so much to me because I don't have a raw food community around me, and so I'm sort of reaching out to you guys in the hopes that maybe some of you will reach back. And on that point, I just hope that if I share some of my personal experiences with you, that you too will feel free to share some of yours, because I think we all have something that we can learn from each other. So on that note, I wanted to make the topic of today's video 5 things that I've learned as a result of becoming a raw foodist, or 5 things that have helped me and sort of the mindset that I'm in as a raw foodist now. I also wanted to give you an update. I went to the health center where I go, the health clinic where I am, where my medical professional is, and I stepped on the scale a couple of days ago, and I have lost 31 pounds. It feels amazing. It just feels absolutely amazing. But even more amazing than the weight loss is how well I'm feeling. And to everyone out there, that's the whole point. You are just going to feel good when you do this, so think about it. But moving forward, I just will move right into sort of the 5 things that I wanted to talk about in terms of things I've learned. And the first one is that never, ever, ever give up. I was put on my first diet when I was 6 months old. I had tripled my weight. I was born at 7 pounds. By 6 months, I was 21 pounds, and the doctor looked at my mom and said, oh, she is going to have trouble with her weight all of her life unless you put her on a diet right now. And I think that was a huge mistake, but the fact was that at 6 months old, I was put on my first diet, and I have been on probably just about every diet since then, trying to struggle with the weight issues that I believe actually started at 6 months. I don't think I had a weight issue at 6 months. The doctor thought I did. It's been a life struggle since then. So twice in my life I've lost a huge amount of weight, more than 100 pounds, and twice in my life I have put that weight back on. And to everyone out there who maybe has done the same thing, lost a lot of weight and put it back on, or struggled and struggled and struggled, I think it's pretty normal, guys. And that's one of the things that I've realized, is that when you hear about weight loss methods, for the most part, the weight, even if it does come off, is not going to stay off. And so, in fact, by regaining the weight, we're actually normal. And the difference, of course, is when you get off and move into a raw food lifestyle and you're off the refined and processed foods. And on a quick note, someone mentioned to me that I had said something in an earlier video about how the salt that we take when we're raw foodists is so much less as a result of eating refined and processed foods. And I apologize for that. The dog was just coming in the door as I mentioned that, and I was a little bit distracted. And obviously I meant to say that the amount of salt that we consume when we're a raw foodist is a lot less, because we are not eating refined and processed foods. So one thing I've learned, again, to get back on track here, is never ever give up. It doesn't matter how old you are or how much you weigh, there is hope. I'm finding that I have hope again, and I hope by sharing my story with you, you may feel hope too. The second thing that I've learned is that your blender is going to become the center of your kitchen. It is such an amazing tool, but in my experience, you don't, in the beginning, have to go out there and get the $800 blender package. I went to my local discount store in the little village where I live, and I got a blender for $19, and I've been just fine with it. I also splurged and spent $13 on a personal blender, which is just a 1-serving blender that allows me to mix up a quick smoothie or something very quickly, that I can then actually remove the blender top and take it with me. So I find that really, really helpful, and maybe for you guys too, you'll find that helpful too. Our blender too becomes the source of our green smoothies. Yay, love these. So the blender will become very, very important to you. So I can't stress that enough when you're doing this. a blender is a good idea, but in the beginning you don't have to go out there and spend a whole bunch of money. Just get started, just get something reasonable, affordable, something that will work for you. You'll use your blender all the time. The third thing that I've learned is that it's not about all or nothing. Of course, we all know, and if you've been watching other videos on YouTube like I have, that the more raw food you consume, the better you feel. And so my goal with this, or my intention, is to try and eat as much raw food as I can. But I can't say I'm 100% raw, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one is, I have to confess that in the morning, I drink a cup of coffee. I know that a lot of raw foodists don't drink a cup of coffee, or don't drink coffee. But for me, it's something that at this point in time, I'm not ready to stop doing. And I don't put anything in it anymore other than sometimes a little bit of agave. But for me, that's just something that has maintained a sort of continuity in my life that is important to me. The other thing for me is that I don't think of coffee as food. And so it is something like someone else might have a cup of tea. Now, I also drink tea. And that's one of the ways that when we're in a cold environment, as I am in Canada, it can be very helpful, because if I have a mug of herbal tea in the afternoon, it usually will warm me right up if I need warming up. But I wanted to mention about the coffee thing, because I hear people who, you know, they like, how can I say this? If they're not 100% raw, they think they failed. And I don't think that's the whole point of the raw food diet or raw foodism. I don't think it's about failing. I think it's about feeling good. And so if you eat something that's cooked, or you have a cup of coffee every now and then, or in my case, one in the morning, and the rest of what you consume is really healthy, nutritious, raw food, good for you and good for me. That's what we're trying to do here. Feel better, do things that are good for us. So for me, it's no more of the fast food stuff, but yes, I have a cup of coffee in the morning, so it's not all or nothing. The fourth thing that I wanted to share with you that I've learned is that parsley is an absolutely delicious salad, makes an absolutely delicious salad. And in fact, I hope that you will enjoy this, because I'm going to make my supper for tonight, or part of what I'm going to eat for supper tonight, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to make in just a minute.